Welcome back, QSL. We got another fun set today between the Cerbs and the Adelies. It'll be really, really interesting. Sets today have been interesting. A little bit one-sided, but is what it is. I am Sir Ionicus yet again. It's been a long day. Joined this time by Elite Sniper. How
Hey,
you doing,
what's
buddy?
up? I'm doing good, doing good.
uh,
Doing there good, bud.
yeah, I'm glad. I've met a lot of interesting people today casting.
Yeah, well, it's
uh,
fun casting. You meet a lot of people and you get to communicate with everybody, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to. I know my team hasn't been able to play against the Cerbs this season, so it'll be really really interesting to see how they play and them and the Adelies. I haven't seen a whole lot from both of them. It'll be really really interesting to see. On paper, I do think that the Cerbs should win. So
I
hoping to
think it
see
comes
some
down to see
performances.
how Awesome Failure does up against Darwin. I
Yeah.
think Awesome Failure is a really good player right now. I've seen him
Mhm.
played a couple times, couple sets, and I think he does really good. But if he falls behind, yeah, the Serbs can take this.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this league maybe a season and a half. I don't quite know everyone, but if Osmond's as good as you say, we'll have to keep our eye over there in the dual lane. Just see how the Adelies play around that strong player, and hopefully get a dub over the Serbs. I mean, I would find it very, very nice. Underdog stories are always great. Going to these first bands though, it's Amaterasu, pretty typical
No
band, but
surprise.
not only still did Fafnir.
That is surprising. They must know that it's a comfort pick for either top hat here. But
Yeah,
from playing scrims against the Serbs, I've never seen Top Hat pull it out, to be honest.
yeah, it's very
But
interesting.
Defender,
Fenrir,
yes,
Fenrir,
Defender
I've
is the
heard.
Top Hat special.
It is for sure. From what I've heard. Um, yeah, I mean, these bands are pretty normal, and the Serbs are not too scared of any comfortable picks on the other side. The other side seeming to ban out just the comfort picks of the support player, trying to make him a little bit more uncomfortable going into this game. I don't know how well that'll work, but I'll use an Omni ban. I don't see that often, but I guess
Yeah.
they fear it.
And here we see a best set, and the Atlas is wide open, and Top Hat has been known. I've seen him play it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alice
he,
is a strong pick. You just get that pool on one guy, and it doesn't matter if it's the easy pool or the long pool, or if it's the grab them and just shove them at your team.
yeah,
But
good displacements, and then also the ult is great shred.
oh, 100%. I mean, I don't think there's any better prot shred in the game. That being said, Gilgamesh being first pick, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't decide to pick up on the Atlas here. I mean, th- it's a strong pick. I mean, it didn't have a great performance earlier, but I think it could do well. The Gilgamesh seeing a lot of priority today though, so maybe it
Mhm.
pops off.
Um, yeah, Gilgamesh going into the jungle, probably that's where you see him the most.
Hmm.
Um, just because he doesn't get much lane pressure against these AA gods nowadays. He was good back into like the Achilles meta, but into these AA gods, he does not do well in the solo lane. So that's a jungle pick for sure, probably.
Yeah, and with the Bologna on the other side, I really hope it is a solo lane or a jungle pick,
Rolling
because as
Victor!
we've seen, the lane is not the easiest for Gilgamesh. We
Look
saw it in the
into
last
my
set.
eyes.
uh, the Bologna bullies Gilgamesh a little bit. Bullies Gilgamesh, bullies Achilles apparently. But it should be a very, very strong pick. Medusa always also very, very good in an ADC. I'm gonna be very excited to see that now because Medusa I think is the top ADC. I think the very few people can pressure it back. How Yi being one of them. But with the Bacchus on the other side, Serbs might look to pressure, like put even more pressure, grabbing the soul even.
Yeah, Soul, great pressure, especially if that's going to ADC. With the bot, because that's going to be extreme pressure early.
Hmm.
Supernova!
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very. It would depend on what the support for the Adelies is gonna be at this point.
Again, Atlas going into round two.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, could
Time to
in my mind,
burn!
you're looking at your support picks. I think that's probably gonna be a band the Serbs have to look at. I know that some of the amas aren't amateur supports aren't the most comfortable on it, but I personally think it's a really strong pick. If it's in your wheelhouse, it's in your wheelhouse, and you can control a game with it. Um, this Agni, I am looking at this Agni though. Just they're looking to be a very, very good, strong comp over here at the Adelies. I mean, sure, you got the really pressure dual lane and like a good setup jungler, but you got over here on the other side, that's a strong backline, a really good diver, the Eagles rally, giving protections and power to whoever you're diving with.
Yeah, as you learned today.
As I learned today, yes, yes, yes. I figured it was one of them, but I thank production for helping me realize that. Thank you, Neptune. Going to the bands though, it looks like Adelies are focusing more on the mid laner. It's definitely seeing this Soul going to ADC, whereas the other side's focusing on this Ganesh, this Khepri, just trying to make sure that when they get a pick, it's not just stolen from them, or
And not only that, just it's
Wisdom
good
shall
to
be
also
my
ban those two
shield.
away to stop the Bacchus from burping.
yeah, I mean, what Khepri's gonna grab him, Ganesh is gonna him.
Yeah, both are
Really,
gonna
really.
have silences against Bacchus.
I am looking at this Freya though, and
The
I'm
Freya's getting hovered.
I'm a Freya lover, and I would be so excited to see this. Uh, it's a really, really like high skill, I guess. I say high skill, but you literally just left click. You hit two stems, left click. But it is something that your team has to play around. So I'm very, very excited. If this goes through, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna
And
be
then also,
excited.
as you were saying, it is high skill for the fact that you have to stay alive
hmm
until
I
you get
mean,
to that point where you're gonna scare the enemy. Because
yeah,
you're gonna put them on a clock and you gotta make it to that clock.
yeah. I do think the banish makes it very, very easy to be that safe. Osiris getting locked in though for the solo laner. Probably the only god that's going to be able to pressure Bologna in the early game, outside of maybe Cabrakan, which
You
they pick
only
up.
hit
I'm gonna assume
what you aim
jungle,
at.
unless it's Bologna jungle. I don't know.
There's
I mean,
no
either way,
way
Bologna
out.
jungle is really fun, and then Cabrakan jungle we have seen all season.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it's really that high of a priority or that good into most of these pin-oriented junglers that want to be in your face 24/7 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: it is a very good matchup into this Gilgamesh. That ability to literally just be in Winds of Shamash and then just say, you know what, I don't want it, and negate the whole slow. Like you just walk out for free. It's like having a free Heavenly on an ability cooldown, um, for yourself. So I do think it's a really, really good matchup into this Gilgamesh. Probably gonna be a little bit rougher when you get into the Bacchus and the Soul and even Chiron. Chiron can cleanse himself. He can just literally you blink on him, he puts his training exercise on the ground at his feet, and all of a sudden he's just away. You didn't get the start that you would want in that instance. But it'll be very, very interesting seeing how the Skabraken puts pressure on the map, where he puts pressure. Maybe it's like playing around this Agni, being able to set him up very, very well for these easy engagements around the mid 3v3s and even mid 2v2s.
100%. And also, like, Cabrakan into also, like, their whole team can basically get out of the tectonic shift.
Yeah, I think
Osiris, if he has his passive, so with his disapparate, Bacchus can just jump, Gilga can just jump, and then training ground just cleanse him and he just dashes out.
yeah,
So
it is a little bit of an awkward pick, but I mean, once you get like maybe you're not looking for the like walling them off, but maybe you're looking to, I don't know, just put that damage out there and
as
potentially just cut off an avenue of escape that if like if their jumps are down or disapparates down, you can punish with the tectonic plates very, very well.
100%. But also what Neptune just pointed out, Athena opting to go Shell over the Frenzy first item.
I mean, you're looking at a Medusa into a Soul. You should. I'm gonna say this. You should win that lane. I'm gonna be 100% honest. You should win. The only downside is the Bacchus maybe clears a little bit better than Athena, but I think it's made up for the fact by you've got Medusa. Medusa's just a powerhouse. You give her a frenzy, that spits full clearing. That like those back minions don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And especially when Soul at this level 1, level 2, maybe when she procs over to level 2, then she'll have her passive. She's not as scary right now as she normally would be.
yeah. Bacchus looking to get pressure, pulls out the shell. Very interesting shell. Soul didn't look to be going aggressive. Maybe a little bit. I'm just trying to think the term.
And,
Maybe a little bit early for the Athena to be doing that. Great interrupt, though. Definitely knows that that taunt needs to be saved in this laning phase for either a pick or Bacchus burp.
yeah,
Soul
for
is
sure.
low, though. Soul's been taking a lot of poke.
Yeah, and
Pots are ticking.
I wonder if Medusa's got her 3, because if they get a taunt into the Soul, that could be a kill, because knowing Soul probably didn't get her to Zaporate right away.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did just see her first ability pop on the ground when they were clearing wave. But yeah, I mean, this dual lane should be very, very good. Bacchus steps out of position even once. He could be a good target. Soul squishier than this Medusa, especially without a sustain with the Gilded Arrow. Oh, I was waiting for the 3 in. Unfortunately, it does look like that awesome failure is not quite comfortable enough to go on this aggressive dive with his Athena.
100%. As we might see Bracken go over to the Soul lane.
Yeah,
Maybe he's hovering, but no, he's just gonna go back. We could have saw like maybe a level 3 gank there.
I mean,
Hopefully something spicy.
yeah, hopefully. I mean, as a solo laner, I know I would hate it. But just like, oh goodness gracious, like a Bracken jungle, level 2 ganking me here. Maybe it would make this stalemate of a lane work. Cyrus starting to show why he out pressures Bologna. You got that 3 that mitigates damage, and if you don't get out, you're just stunned. Easy peasy. And then I don't know. It's just these.
Especially, I want to see if this Osiris against this Bologna maxes his 3 next. Because I think that's really good into another AA god is maxing your 3 instead of maxing your 1 second.
I mean, you lose the damage though, and I think that's where it falls off. Sorry, the mid laner for the Cerbs. Gotta remember which one's which. The Cerbs coming over, gets the red buff invade with the Gilgamesh, and then proceeds to walk over the purple, taking the pressure he's put in mid lane, and just taking the purple buff. No one knows. He just did it and left. And
there was no wards at all. The only ward was at that cut where the purple buff is, but that's only to see from them leaving the duo lane.
Yeah, it's very, very smart play on the
Chiron,
taking advantage of the pressure.
Around the on a ward though, so he does get spotted out by this Bacchus.
Yeah, and unfortunately the Bacchus does have his leap, and the Soul gets out for free. I mean, what's his first relic? Beads. Okay, and he used his beads. Where did he use his beads?
They had a skirmish in mid lane, and Agni and Bracken kind of had to back off because Bracken was half and out of mana.
That explains so much. Ooh, great taunt and a great lacerate from Medusa, getting that pick on the Soul. Looking to get this Bacchus maybe just shy, not enough damage this early in the game to take out that behemoth of a tank. And Bracken does steal the purple buff, trading in kind with what the Chiron did earlier before.
As we see. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was gonna say Kingston, this Box and Sphinx over here getting them low.
Fortunately, it does look like a Gilgamesh gank coming over, gonna punish Kingston just a little bit too far up. Good kill for the Cerbs there, just making sure that this Bologna can't get that advantage. And honestly, both these picks in solo lane, whoever gets ahead could run the game just on their own. Like, these backlaners doing well, but like, you don't want a Bologna or an Osiris running at you.
No. Even though Bologna will bring the better team fight over an Osiris. But at the same time, either way, they can still run a game.
Yeah. Gilgamesh punishing this Bracken for not being on his timers. Unfortunate for this Bracken. He's just not going to have any farm. Stayed over in that left lane a little bit too long. Just loses out on his farm on the right lane to this Gilgamesh. Bacchus looking to be a little bit more aggressive. Medusa dashing out. Okay. Oh, dashes in? Okay. I was like, okay, you don't have time. I mean, I think you just saved that. And then the dashes in. I'm a little bit confused. Bologna taking the fight with this Gilgamesh again over the Totem of Ku. Cyrus coming in again, saving his Gilgamesh from getting soloed by the enemy solo.
You know, but surprised, but here comes Kraken. But I think Osiris does have his ult, so
yeah,
not gonna get much out of it.
Good ult on the Osiris, just getting out of there before any of the damage from this Bracken jungle, who has T2 magic pen item, and with Osiris not having any magic defense, it's really good if he just comes around and is like, hello, stomp. And Osiris can't really do much because she's gonna take a ton of damage for it.
100%. Nothing out of the ordinary out of builds so far. Everything looking pretty standard. Other than the shell pickup, everything just looking pretty standard nonetheless.
I am surprised that this Medusa. Oh, no, as I'm about to say, Medusa's lurking around the corner, waiting, step up. Oh, looks like a skirmish in mid results in Big Daddy Maui just falling around the corner to Chiron. Unfortunately,
Did use the ult on B more. Awesome failure getting a solo kill over on McDonald's over there.
McDonald's.
Yep, McDonald's. I said McDonald's. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I see Mick and I go Donald's. Okay, I'm fat. I get it.
Goodness gracious.
I like my Big Macs and chicken nuggets. All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Looking like on this to repeat. To compensate for
Yeah.
Donlin getting soloed on the left side of the map. They were going to gank the Bologna. Unfortunately, is not enough damage. And the Agni putting up pressure on this Chiron, low on mana, unable to really step up much with an Athena, ready to taunt him. I'm looking. Bracken is looking at going on the right side, but again, this Soul should have the pressure. Medusa's making sure, hello, you want to play the game? No, this is my playground.
Yeah.
Making the Soul very, very uncomfortable, even clearing wave.
Yeah, especially when Soul only has Ring of Hecate online, and Medusa gets her power spike pretty much off that first item there.
And she's had it for a while. I think part of the reason why she soloed her, unfortunately, that time was just a little bit later, maybe waiting for or earlier, second or two. They maybe killed the Bacchus there. Unfortunately, Soul rotating in, punishing this Athena and Medusa. Bracken is coming in to peel them though. Taunt's not coming through, but Soul dead. Just Soul dead. Bracken trades his life for it. Medusa does get a nice ult going in, catching two, and Agni catches top hat. And we're just looking at the Gilgamesh just running at everyone, just trying to get a kill somewhere. Unfortunately, no one's looking behind just to see how low he is to trade that kill.
No. I think Medusa could have easily turned and shot a couple of shots away. She had enough mana for Viper shot and could have killed him.
You don't need mana if you just auto a couple times, and then you have enough mana for your spit. Sphinx does get the solo, barely gets it. Looking like he maybe Bologna aggressed a little bit too much going into that fight, and then Osiris punished.
Probably took a tower shot there.
Probably. It was close to the tower, but at the same time, I mean, that's a really huge kill. I mean, Bologna's already 0-2, Osiris 1-0-1, having gotten the assist earlier when the Gilgamesh ganked. This might snowball in favor of the Osiris, but it does look like the Bologna does have an item up, going with a cheaper option, the Witchblade. Great counter for these AD gods, and I mean, they've got 3 of them, 4 of them technically. And you got Gilgamesh, Osiris, Chiron, Soul, and the pressure. I mean, for what it's happening, it's a very, very even game. Adelies actually being a kill down, but almost like 1,000. Yeah, almost 1,000 gold ahead. Not that much to look at, but I mean, that's the difference between a tier 3 item and a tier 2 item. This Medusa making this Soul's life a living hell right now. Unfortunately, Gilgamesh is here to punish that, finally seeing this Medusa and punishing her for the over-aggression. Winds of Shamash is used, but I feel like that's worth. You just shut down maybe the win con for the Adelies here. But Agni's still looking pretty good in mid lane, just poking out these mid v3v3s. Osiris is rotating here, looking at the Bracken, maybe going to punish him for just stepping up a little aggressively. Great beads to nullify all that, and even greater peel out of the Agni, setting up the Bologna is now here. Setting up, they might get the Bacchus here or the Osiris. I mean, everyone's getting low. Unfortunately, it does look like Gilgamesh is going to get a turn back on the Bracken, but they do kill top hat for it. I mean, I would take that trade. That's the jungle for your support.
Yeah, I
And
think the Cerbs definitely come out on top for that because they took Big Daddy Maui out of the game again. So
definitely
losing
rough
top
for
hat
this.
there, it's fine.
Yeah, it is definitely rough for this Cabrakan, not really being able to find much of the space. Sure, he's getting a little bit of pressure with the CC and starting the Cold Fury off. Just a very, I mean, I wouldn't say early. It's 11 minutes in the game, but you just won. You just didn't really win a fight. Unfortunately, the Cerbs are aware of it, and the Soul steals it away. No one there to stop her from just ulting over the wall.
No, I mean, if anything, yeah, Agni could have used his ults, and then Athena could have went the peel and just taunted her away because it was super one shot by the time she solo showed up.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of a lack of vision. The only ward that high up I see is a ward from the Cerbs. Maybe the Adelies, like the Adelies, maybe need to, if they're going to take an objective, maybe ward a little bit better. It does look like 3 converging on this Medusa here. Medusa is going to use her beads and get out. Maybe they turn an engagement, but unfortunately they see the Bacchus is also there and step away, just being a little bit safer there. Bacchus being here at the red buff though, a little bit, like, I can see what you want to do.
And yeah, Bacchus steals the red buff.
I mean, he does expend his ult for it. A little bit weird. Bracken trying to catch this Gilgamesh, but Chiron on the backside gets the Agni. Unfortunately, the better ADC does come back and bite back, only to be taken out by Gilgamesh. And this fight's going one-sided a little bit in the Cerbs' favor. I mean, 3 for 1. You just lost B-more for maybe positioning a little bit too aggressively, but you trade out 3 for it. The 3 DPS are just down.
And that was a very questionable play by Big Daddy Maui. Obviously, seeing the awesome failure just died there, and then wins the Shamash while it's still up, and then getting all that damage put on him.
Yeah, very, very questionable plays in that fight. I mean, by both teams. I mean, B-more has the aggressive positioning. Sure, he gets Agni, but he immediately gets traded out, and then Maui just going toward awesome failure and being dove on and proceeding to take all the damage for it. Looks like a blue buff invade is happening though. The Bach is coming here to help the Osiris steal it away, and it does look like they are successful, but Athena also here to maybe try to alleviate the pressure. Maybe they get the pick with Cabrakan here, but looks like the Athena isn't going to try to chase that down.
Yeah, and while we have a little bit of breather, Osiris has maybe a level and a half a lead, as Blona just ticked over to 13. Terminator has a 3-level lead in the jungle. B-more has a 2-level lead in this mid on the Chiron. Top has this 1-level lead. But awesome failure with this 2-level lead in the duo lane. Feels good. As Kingston's getting really low on this 1-on-1 over here against Sphinx. Might look to die here, but Blona rallies away, fortunately.
Yeah,
I'm honestly surprised that we didn't see Lord of Afterlife come out.
I mean, I was literally sitting there watching for him, waiting for him, but maybe Sphinx just thought maybe not the wisest decision. I mean, I guess they hadn't seen Cabrakan over on the left side, but I mean, you're right. I mean, the level deficits are kind of starting to grow. Osiris, as we just showed, is very comfortable in this one-on-one engagement with this Bologna. The 2-level lead just making it very, very hard to do anything. 3-level leads in the jungle means Louis just everywhere, whereas Maui can't really do anything. Like, he does an engagement, sure, but then they get 2-level lead in mid. He's going to take a lot of damage for being 4 levels down off that 2-level lead. And then the Bacchus just being that extra bit tankier than the Athena. I'm hoping that the Adelies are starting to realize these little engagements and play off of their dual lane, as Maui yet again falls. Chiron, Osiris, Gilgamesh just find him in the jungle, punish him, and no one's there to really back him up.
Yeah, I can't really see how the Adelies can turn these fights unless Awesome Failure's there, but if Awesome Failure's there, he's just going to get dove on because he's the only one that's ahead on their team.
Yeah, I think going forward, the possible play could be play around this Medusa. Maybe get a really good Medusa ult. I mean, the last fight we saw Medusa in, Medusa got a 2-man ult and proceeded to actually make sure that one of those stuns ended in a kill before falling herself for maybe being positioned a little bit weird, farther ahead than she should have been. But yeah, here's the hoping that they can learn. Beats out of the soul, just the spit, just scaring Donlin out, and slow being negated by the ultimate and the soul ult and Medusa ult. But that's a great Athena ult, great beats to get out of the winds of Shamash. But the team is coming around, peeling for this Medusa. The Cerbs are trying their absolute darndest to get rid of this Medusa, but unfortunately they dive too deep, and Top Hat is gonna fall for chasing out that kill too far.
Yeah, and that was a really good play, keeping that Medusa alive. And it looks like the Adelies want more, because they could easily pull this Fury here.
Yeah, I mean,
With 2 picks down, if they just push him out, they can. Awesome Failure can just regroup and get this Primal Fury down.
yeah, it's looking like the Cerbs we're looking to back, but yeah, as you said, they can look for this Gold Fury. I mean, both solo laners rotating over here, and it's gonna be a 3v5 for it a little bit. Now a 4v5, 5v5 if Top Hat gets there in time, but it does look like they're choosing not to go that way. Choosing instead to push the wave in mid lane. A little bit of questionable decision, but it looks like Medusa and Maui might be sitting around the corner waiting for someone. Yeah, I mean, it does look like they're looking to take this mid lane tower, open up the map a little bit more. Bologna ult onto the Osiris though. Instead of a mid lane tower, gonna choose the Lord of the Afterlife, or Lord of the Afterlife, yeah, to target. And I mean, damage is missed ultimate by Kabrakan, but Medusa ult kills the jungler there.
And then here's Soul doing Soul thing, split pushing with her passive, able to do that. Doesn't matter if her team dies, but if she sees the whole team over there, she can do that for free.
And very, very smart by the Adelies to send Athena over there. Maybe not the wisest in the 1v1, but it at least shows that face. And if they ever need Athena, Athena just hits 4, goes that way. There is nothing that the Soul can do to stop the Athena. And unfortunately, Soul does invade the purple buff. And as I was saying, can just ult away and is doing so right now to make sure this Medusa can properly fight here and stay alive, and it's setting up really well. I mean, as we said, them playing around this Medusa, I think this is the play that they're starting to realize that this is the play.
Yeah. At this point, Medusa is their win con to get back into this game fully.
And Awesome Failure is doing a great job of pushing his lead into these team fights. I mean, they have to back. The mid and support now have to back because of the just amount of damage that Athena helped make, but like that was a Medusa just Viper shot, spit, like
yeah, just look at the damage charts over there. Medusa being the highest all around.
And not even by a small margin either. Like the next highest being like just under 1k, being the Gilgamesh, who's just been drop kicking and wins a Shamash.
It's more than 1k. It's 5k.
Oh, I was talking about like, oh wait, I'm thinking 10k. Great still by the Adelies. Kingston having a great Eagles rally there. Jeez,
Onicus can numbers.
I can numbers perfectly fine, just fine. This Medusa maybe being a little bit too far caught out. I mean, this is a Gilgamesh that Sunfire Scimitar, Top Hat. The Aegis, sure, it'll stop a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough to stop Soul following up with your ult to cut off your escape. Medusa being a little bit too far out.
Yeah, especially with no ward pressure anywhere. I don't see any red wards in this deep area at all, except for the one by the tier 1 mid.
I mean, I see the one by the tier 1 mid, and I see the one up by the purple buff. I don't see a whole lot of vision on this side. Cerbs just get a free Gold Fury. Again, those wards, they don't know that they're on it. I mean, sure, the sense would be our ADC's down. They're probably on gold, but Vision not letting you have that certainty. Maybe catching the Adelies off guard. It is looking like a little bit of a fight going maybe happening here in mid, but instead, Cerbs are looking to just go back to farming, pushing the leads that they've got and where they've got it even further ahead. While the Adelies are just grouped up trying to push this mid lane, which I find a little bit weird. I'm like, what objective are you getting just by pushing mid lane? Like, you lost the Gold Fury now because you guys were in mid lane. You did steal the Pyromancer, so that's huge. But it is looking like the Gold Furies are just not in favor of the Adelies today.
I mean, granted, they got the T1 tower, but at the same time, sure, it's that safety tower that everybody likes to be under. You're making them lose that safety, but you drop an objective for it. And now it looks like they're about to may lose this Fire Giant if they don't all spot it out and all rotate as Medusa finally sees it and comes to rotate in, maybe.
Yeah, it looks like Medusa's on like the red buff, clearing the red buff, maybe getting that damage, but the Adelies now being smart to the issue, going on it, but the Soul just goes to secure it. Maybe the fight after, but this Agni getting caught out. The Athena, unfortunately not having taunt. Athena might also fall in the back to this Gilgamesh and Osiris dive. And then the front side, Kabrakan, he's caught out. There's 3 members on him, and Donlin will pick up that kill. Fortunately, Medusa just not there to help them push the fight. I mean, there's just too many leads in there, and the one lead that the Adelies have just isn't there. And unfortunately, they lose for it.
That was a bad call by Austin Failure by not being there quick enough. Instead, he went for that red buff.
Yeah, I mean, straight up, like, it was a bit of a surprise. Like, they didn't really have any advantages. They just pulled it. And I mean, with the fact that they pulled the gold, no one contested it. I mean, I guess with that information, you'd be like, maybe they don't have these objectives awarded. Maybe they aren't thinking around the objective play. Maybe they're playing around the pick play. And they get the Adelies get punished for it. I mean, if you're playing for picks, sure, but you do need that vision on those objectives.
Yeah. As they're sieging now for free.
I mean, the T2s aren't worth it. Like, you're so far behind in most of your lanes, and even Soul's caught up. I mean, what, half an item down? That's the only thing between the Soul and the Medusa? I mean,
yeah.
You just get out. Like, the one lead the Adelies had is now caught up off of that last fight, taking that XP from killing Maui and getting the Fire Giant, being able to push it against that. Athena does dash in, gets, I think, 1 taunt, but unfortunately there's no follow-up for him. Unfortunately, the Adelies aren't really setting up too well for their team here. And the Athena doing a good job getting great taunts, but unfortunately the follow-up isn't there. And maybe the Adelies playing a little bit scared being at the deficit they are.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they're working their way up to the point where gold's not going to matter. But I still think they could have hard defense that and got away with it if Kabrakan was there. But he was over there on his speed and his back heartbeats.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, as you said, if that Kabrakan was there, they could get a pick. They could potentially cut people off with that Kabrakan ultimate, and then on top of that, the taunt. What are you gonna do? Like, the best you can do is win the Shamash in there and then jump out to make sure no one can follow up. But unfortunately, the Adelies just maybe not on the same page, not thinking about the map play and more thinking about, hey, the farm I need here or there, which is smart. I mean, Kabrakan is behind, but I mean, the Cerbs are just gonna punish you for not being there. I mean, they punished you for your Medusa not being at fire. They took fire,
Yeah,
and now this is all happening.
Another good way to farm is also get kills on these big shutdowns. There's a couple big shutdowns at this point. I mean, Osiris still hasn't died. That's still a shutdown that they can get if they can even get a pick off of him.
Yeah, Osiris, I mean, he's been playing very, very well, even when the Medusa was doing rather well. And then maybe getting caught out. But as we were saying, the Osiris has been playing very, very well in this laning phase, almost dying a couple times, but always making sure that he's safe enough. And even in those engagements where he's winning, he doesn't overcommit just in case that Kabrakan's lurking around the corner or Athena ults into the engagement. He's playing very, very well. And if they can get a shutdown on this Osiris, maybe diving the back line, maybe a little bit too eagerly, maybe could pick him off and get that extra level. This Kabrakan is lurking around, looking at this looking at the soul on the backside. Gilgamesh and Bacchus a little bit wary of it. Unfortunately, he does go to the lane instead of contesting. Maybe costing them this fight. This Athena going in a little bit deep. Agni almost dead. Bellona will fall to the final tick of the Winds of Shamash. Athena also falling to the soul, just beating into her back. Bracken a little bit late. Like, he doesn't have anyone backing him up anymore. He beads a little bit too late for the knockup and falls to the soul and Bacchus. I mean,
Yeah, I think at this point, Serbs can just run it down and win this game right here.
yeah, what's stopping them? The three front lines are dead, and at that point, the front lines seem to be in this very disjointed conversation. The Athena going a little bit too deep, the Kabrakan choosing to go farm in the wave, and then Bellona being the one to peel. Very, very interesting communication and awesome failure, just getting dove. There's no front line to stop them, and then Agni potentially falling here as well. I think this is just game.
This is game one. It's going to the way of the Serbs.
I mean,
Yep, Bologna can't do anything. That was a good rally, but you know.
Three-man rally, but who's following up? No one. Sure, you give maybe one extra auto of protections to the Titan, but
And you also shut down Sphinx there, but it's still not going to stop in the game at that point.
yeah, unfortunately, just a really, really, really strong showing from the Serbs, but unfortunately, the Adelies maybe need to go back to the drawing board, evaluate how that game went, and just, you know, think about where they want to put their pressure and how they want to use what they've got. Because if you're behind in like every role and except one, and that one has a lead, maybe playing around that instead of the mid lane or the jungle or the solo who isn't able to do as much into that late game. Just really, really strong performance from the Serbs.
And also seeing
Definitely a
these,
lot to look.
words on these Adelies here, but I didn't see the ward pressure around the objectives that you should have. They outwarded the Serbs, but I just never saw it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they were warding these little corridors going in instead of the mainly looking at the ganks than the objectives. That'll be game one though. Just the Serbs putting on a dominant performance, punishing every single possible thing that they can. Maybe making a few mistakes that did get punished or didn't. But yeah, we'll take a short break here and we'll see you guys for game two. This is looking to be an interesting one.
Yep. See you next time.
Welcome back to the set between the Cerbs and the Adelies. I'll take a minute there. Um, we're going into game 2 here. What kind of things do you think we should probably like Adelies look at and maybe the Cerbs think of going
Um,
into the set?
Adelies, I need to see better war pressure around these objectives and maybe work around and play around Awesome Failure here because he did do a prominent game 1, but he just didn't have that peeled the whole time. And as far as the Serbs, their game plan was fine, but they dove for kills so much. They also got picked for it. But they did do objectives they did objectives really well, noticing that they didn't have wards down, able to shred them. But I just need to see safer plays and knowing when you can, just dive in without any retaliation back.
Yeah, and going into these picks and bans, I'm looking at Bastet Ama on one side, the turtle ducks. Been a long day. The Adelies, banning the Gilgamesh here first and foremost, seeing that as the prominent factor going in this. Great change already, and I do agree that if they ward properly around these objectives, they could push back against these Serbs. Not let the Serbs just have these free objectives like that Gold Fury and that Fire Giant that won. I feel like won them the game. Uh,
Mhm.
Just I don't know, man. Your wards win games, guys.
I'm surprised not to see a Medusa ban here. Instead, still opting for the Zanami.
Yeah, I mean, some people find that big silence a little bit disruptive, but CC immunity on top of like the just pure damage a Medusa can give, definitely I do feel like would be more valuable than Izanami. But I mean, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe it's just Awesome Failure being just a top tier just Izanami player, and the Serbs just don't want to let him through. Um, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what they know.
But they do opt to pick up the soul for themselves.
Uh, yeah, I mean,
Supernova!
Donlin did a lot of work going into that dual lane with it. He was behind a lot, but I mean, it's Medusa against Soul. I mean, Soul can put
Face
out
the
pressure,
bitter
but
winds
Medusa's
of
gonna put out more.
Niflheim!
Heimdall probably also a really good response, especially that Soul goes in the ADC. You've got just a really safe uh Hunter going into this high pressure mage ADC. The only downside being if she decides to ult you, you're not getting your Bifrost out. And then Poseidon mid, interesting. I do know that is a favorite of Beamor, so definitely I don't think going to ADC making this weird matchup. So the backline for the Serbs already made.
Um, Pretty solid. Whirlpool and the Kraken's always going to turn team fights regardless.
Mm-hmm.
The Cripple's going to be really good, and then Heimdall with just being so safe and able to go in, use his ult, crystal out, and still be in a fight.
Wisdom shall be my shield.
For sure, for sure. Going to Cena though, I do like the Cena. That Cena did look pretty good last game for these Adelies. Definitely glad that they saw that that was a good component to their comp. And maybe the dash doesn't work as well into Poseidon, but Poseidon is an immobile god despite the move speed allowing him to zoom around. So Athena really good for punishing him there. Looking at this, I will say though, if this soul goes duo side again, I feel like I'm gonna, as I say, they
Nope.
lock in Apollo. It does look like it'll be mid instead. About to go on a tangent, man.
Jihad!
Apollo locked in for the Adelies.
Yeah, that Apollo's going to go up against the Heimdall. And I think it's a good matchup because Apollo can mez Heimdall out of the crystal, which would make him reset the crystal.
And knock up, by the way. That
Mhm.
3 does knock him up. If you go through, it will knock up. So very, very good. Better than the soul. Like you don't have to expend that ultimate to keep him. I mean, you also lose out on the damage, but I mean, you do damage longer with them. Um, as well as I do think it'll be very, very good for Awesome Failure to get involved in these fights. He showed a very prominent performance in the last game, being able to basically if positioned correctly, carry a team fight almost,
Winning
or
or
at least
losing doesn't
lure
matter.
the
We
Cerbs
all
into
shall
a
return
bad
to nature
position.
in the end.
But an Ardio, another cripple.
Yeah, another cripple. It can go either support or solo. It's prominent in either side. Able to do. It's pretty good into Athena. If it does go into support, it stops him from dashing in. And it doesn't matter if you get taunted because it's also going to stop the Apollo from dashing away.
Yeah, I mean, Ardio just a strong pick. Whether if you're in, I was about to say if you're in solo lane, good for sustain. But in both roles, sustain that one ability, being able to give your team some healing if you hit enemy gods, and then in all honesty, that cripple, as you said, keeps this Athena from dashing in or dashing away. Paulo as well, and especially if the Adelies plan to pick any more dash style gods or leap style gods who kind of rely on those to escape. Ardio's really, really strong, especially with the Poseidon. Like, you might not even need the Whirlpool to crack and just have Ardio sit on top of them and they can't run away.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong draft out of the Cerbs, making sure that the movement of the Adelies is just locked down.
Yeah, and then Ardio's one decent counter, Odin getting banned away.
Yeah, for sure, that Odin Cage. Probably not even just there to counter Ardio. Yeah, sure, Ardio's not going to be able to heal, but Poseidon can't get out of that. I mean, sure, this 2-stem might do a little bit better clearing out, I think.
No, yeah, but also I think Poseidon would want to fight you in that cage because he's just going to crack in your face.
Yeah.
Rumor
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. A Bologna, though, locked in. Maybe seeing Guan Yu and Odin as problems for Bologna in the laning phase. A little bit interesting, but I mean, that high pressure pick, I mean, he showed it off the Osiris very, very well last game, and I feel like he could just pull out the Bologna a bit better.
Mm. Going into Sung Wukong, Sung Wukong should be able to win the early laning phase just for the fact he's not going to look to fight, hopefully.
Kill away his fury!
Yeah, especially with the current start being Bluestone and was it Bluestone Soul Eater? And I mean, in some even go shifters. I mean, you lose out on that one extra 10% pen or 10% pen. Yeah, I mean you do lose out on that, but losing out on that extra damage, shifters just gives a decent amount of damage as well. But
Comes
should
down
be
if you. Oh, I'm sorry.
comes down to what?
I was just saying it comes down to if you wanted to be aggressive Sun Wukong, then you go to Soul Eater. If not, you can go the tankier route.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I feel like it might be an aggressive Wukong.
Even
Nemesis
gods
being
must
locked
heed
in.
the
If
scales of fate.
gonna punish this Athena for maybe stepping up a little bit more. I mean, divine judgment on an Athena who maybe is a little bit too far forward should be an easy punish. Steal their prots, steal their movement speed, and they're just stuck there. They might as well be the mid laner or the jungler or any squishy at that point.
Yeah.
Uh,
As I'm seeing this draft, I think the Cerbs kind of outdrafted the Adelies here, but the Adelies still have the way to turn it around with the Soul. And then with Awesome Failure, hopefully having the same type of game he had early to mirror what he did last game.
mm-hmm. I don't mean to alarm you, Sniper, but I'm looking at the Cerbs right now, and I was looking, I was like, audio support, maybe Bologna, solo, it'd be really, really good. That's a Bologna support. Like, audio works fine in solo, but Bologna in the support lane, how do you feel about that one?
Out of all the warriors, I don't think any of the AA gods except for maybe Osiris can support. Just because I think Osiris, with the Lord of Afterlife getting that stun and then also getting the stun off his 3 and the mitigation, is able to face tank a lot. But as a support, Bologna, you're not going to be able to do what Bologna's do well and run the show practically. A Horus here would have been decent. You could have seen Achilles. You could have seen a lot. You could have seen a Chalk support. You could have seen a lot more different warrior supports here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying. As you were speaking, I was trying to think of the tech. It's like, Bologna, what are you doing? The only thing I can think of is like the slow and the one is a slow one, but it's also block stack. So maybe you can punish the ADC a little bit more, and then you got that disarm. maybe they're playing around that, and then the passive buff in Eagles Rally. That's all I can think of. It's still baffling to me, but that's all I can think of on that one. Just a strange support pick. I'm interested to see how they use it, though. I mean, I think Athena punishes it really well, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll have to see how this plays out.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm waiting for this wave 1 Athena Bologna popping that Belt of Frenzy already, running at the Athena, taking some poke for it. Unfortunately, the Athena didn't opt to go Belt of Frenzy, instead going Shell, costing them that clear. Maybe just having the heads up to realize, hey, we're probably not gonna win this 1v1 or this wave 1. And what is happening over here? First, like, I can understand the Shell, but like, you have the wave pressure. I'm a bit confused as the Cerbs not pushing this warrior in the support into punishing the Adelies for their lack of wave clear. I don't know, man. This is starting to be very, very weird. Mid lane's interesting at least, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna agree with you. Like, with this Bologna, I'd be looking to get a kill as quickly as possible. I mean, there should be no reason why you don't get a kill before level 5.
Yeah, this Poseidon almost dying in the Pele, but Pele maybe staying a little bit too long. Catching the whirlpool? No, it's not a whirlpool. It's the wave ability from the Poseidon and just taking a lot of damage there. Still fighting over there. The Nemesis wanting to look back at the soul. Poseidon maybe looking to assist. And yeah, the Cerbs take the 2v2 in mid and just run with it. I just think that was a big misstep from the Pele, and unfortunately cost the soul her life as well. Maui really needs to show up in these fights a little bit better than he has been.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I'm just lost for words at this point. Like, this draft still loses me for words, especially in top out here with the Bologna. I don't have much to say, but Athena looking like she's about to go down.
The Shell's not going to help you, Athena. That's a Nemesis who just slowed you. And then you got Bologna. I don't know if she used her one yet or not, but unfortunately, that fight in mid just is skyrocketing this Nemesis around the map. She is a level down, interestingly enough, looking like this Pele is just farming a little bit better. But, I mean, the pressure that this Nemesis is creating, I mean, that's a 2-level lead on the Poseidon over Soul. I'm looking at that. I'm baffled. This draft shouldn't be working as well as it is, but it's working so well. This Bologna finally utilizing that what I'm assuming that they were using it for, just bullying, just not taking damage from these ADCs.
Yeah, and I don't understand how Soul is so far down, even though I guess B-More's been just getting farm. Just getting both side camps pretty well off cooldown. And is able to stay ahead of the Soul, which is what he needs to be in order to even keep the Soul down, as we saw the Medusa do it earlier.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This draft still baffles me, but they are doing a very, very good job farming the map on the side of the Cerbs, and side of the Cerbs, and even the Adelies are doing very, very well. The Pele still keeping even. Fortunately, it does look like this Nemesis is looking to fight. I was about to say using that advantage of a tier 1 item, but these back camps giving her level 5, that's scary. Don't know if Pele wants to fight this. That's a Nemesis with ult, and you don't have yours. And it does look as if Nemesis is winning. Yep, there's the ultimate. Nemesis 3. Wukong is coming back to maybe punish this Nemesis. Cudgel over the head. Nemesis is going to get that kill, and unfortunately, Wukong already used his third ability to get there, and can't use anything else to punish this Nemesis.
No, not at all. If he would have held on to that instead of bird forming and try to get there as quickly as possible and try to get, Big Daddy Maui to walk towards him, he could have Tiger Stunned and maybe got a kill there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he gets there in time if he doesn't use the form, so a little bit of an unfortunate just the jungle wanting to take a fight and then just run away from the solo lane. A little bit of miscommunication, I think, from Maui with his solo laner there.
Yeah.
Um,
Nothing surprised. I'm surprised the solo lane is going so well over here against everybody's even. No invades. No one's trying to do anything special.
yeah, I mean, Nemesis is looking for that blue buff invading. Probably gonna kill the Wukong here. Unfortunately, Wukong does not look like he had enough mana, maybe, to ult. It's up. I think as soon as that Nemesis blinks, you just jump in the air. Pele still trying to take these fights against Nemesis after losing so horribly. And Nemesis just a little shy on the day. I was about to say, Maui, you are literally one auto away. Please don't go back in. I don't want to eat my words.
You ate your words.
All right, I believe this is the moment where I retire.
Yeah, and Big Daddy Maui does not look comfortable at all on this Pele at all. He's missing a lot of autos. He's just autoing the air 95% of these fights.
I mean, he seems to just be taking really bad fights. I mean, 2 ultimates out of Adelies. I feel like it's not just Maui. I feel like the Adelies are just maybe trying to force a little bit too much. Ardio gonna catch his Wukong. The Athena giving him mitigations to survive just a little bit longer, but unfortunately, the Ardio just gets the damage there. I don't know, man. The Adelies are looking a little bit rougher than last game. Even Awesome Failure being over here a level down on this Heimdall.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that these rotations ended something good for him.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he didn't even go back to the Medusa. The Medusa was not banned at all. Because he could have got that aggressiveness, but being on this Apollo and especially going into the Devos, he doesn't have any power right now.
Yeah. Devo's still stacking means it's going to be a little bit while longer before Apollo has a true power spike. And again, it looks like the Adelies are just forcing way too many fights. Poseidon is one shot, so maybe they were looking to get that, but like, I don't know, man. Like, these fights seem very, very forced, and the Cerbs are punishing it. They're seeing these engagements and telling the Adelies, hey, we need you to play smart, not like this, and punishing them for just stepping a little bit too aggressively.
We are not seeing the same Adelies early game that we did see game 1 at all. They're just misstepping, tunnel visioning on that one kill, and still not able to get it, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of tunnel vision on the Adelies side. Looking like the Cerbs are grouping up for an objective, though. I mean, look at that ward vision. There's no way that the Adelies can come in comfortably to contest this Gold Fury. Smart play, especially with Poseidon's cracking down.
And they just get it for free. No contestant, no wards. I mean, Adelies didn't have wards over that objective, so they had no way of knowing that they're even there.
This comes back to what we were saying, like last game, earlier in picks and bans even. The Adelies just need to work on their ward coverage. If they have ward coverage at these objectives, they could potentially fight them. I mean, into this deficit, it's looking a little bit rougher than it did last game, but I mean, you can't just let these objectives go for free. I mean, these objectives go into gold leads. I mean, you're 4K, over 4K gold down now. You can't, the more of these objectives you let slip, the farther and farther and farther into just a pit of deficit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and they had the ward numbies game 1, but just didn't have the wards where they needed them on those objectives at all.
It's strange. Awesome failure? Donlin, you can't be winning. You can't be losing those 1v1s, my guy. You're literally ahead of this Apollo, and you just let him run at you. This Alona, maybe a little too aggressive. The Nemesis is there to punish Awesome Failure for going back in. The Blink and the Divine Judgment coming in. Soul rotating from mid. Maybe get something out of this. Kraken from the Poseidon coming in. Another rotation from the other mid laner. Picks up 2 from the Adelies. Swinging that in favor of the Cerbs. I mean, what? This 1 kill on what? Donlin, who lost the 1v1, to the Cerbs coming back and taking 3.
Yeah, 1 for 3 there, and Again, they didn't have wards. They didn't know they were coming. I just see nothing but red over on that left side.
They can't. I believe, right, that this team could fight these engagements, especially around Awesome Failure, especially around him. He just won a 1v1 at a deficit. I want that to be said. He was at a deficit and beat this Heimdall. Heimdall being one of the strongest just 1v1 gods. But not having that vision to know that the enemy mid laner is following your mid laner there, and even the jungler being there, Awesome Failure doesn't commit to that fight. Maybe they don't commit to that fight at all and they don't lose any more members. They get the one kill, everything happens. Great follow-up on this Heimdall. He does crystal away Apollo, remembering where it is going, following up, tracking, forcing the ultimate out of him. Great play from Awesome Failure to recognize where it's going. And even a dive?
I would have just called that a win and backed off, but they do end up getting the kill at least. And
Yeah,
Athena getting out with her life? Nope.
Not quite.
But
Taking
here
a little
comes
too long.
the cavalry. Yet again, no wards to see them coming.
I mean, good on that Athena for tanking for the Apollo, but unfortunately the kill doesn't even go to the Apollo, and Nemesis is just gonna run them down, making great use of that third ability to auto cancel and just get 2 autos immediately to finish him off. This Nemesis is everywhere, man. He's 9-0-3, putting big numbers across the map, putting pressure everywhere. We get 2-level lead off the support, 3-level lead in mid. Only thing they're not in the lead of is solo, and I mean, Wukong even against an Artio is not winning, and ADC, and that's because just this Awesome Failure is taking this shut down on the Nemesis, though. Looking like the Pele might have recommitted into that fight with the Athena and
That's
took her out.
good shutdown, but I hate that it was on the Athena, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad it didn't go to the way of Big Daddy Maui there and help him get that gold and XP back up.
I think if Maui got that, Maui might be ahead now. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. That yes, the assist makes you a little bit better in that regard, but I think if he'd gotten the kill, this Pele might be able to do a lot more on the map and might even be able to put people ahead and get these deficits that they're at a little bit. Get these even matchups in ahead. Maybe get some Failure up to a position where he can rotate from ahead and push these. Do the same thing. I don't know. Just unfortunate, but it was a good shutdown on Terminator here. Just unfortunate that can't be used a little bit better.
Yeah. As we see Nemesis coming to gank the solo lane, forcing the ult out of the Wukong. But it could have. There might have been follow up. They could have followed up, but Be more with a Kraken getting the double kill.
Yeah, I mean, these wards are this lack of wards is killing all the chances. Like Awesome Failure, it's good on the Cerbs to recognize Awesome Failure is how these Adelies can get back in the game. He proved it last game. You put him on something aggressive, he'll do it. And even taking advantage of the fact that he's Apollo. What he wants you to do is go everywhere else so he can go into another fight. Not if all 4 members rotate on him, though. I mean, you can't really exert global pressure if the global pressure needs to be exerted in your lane.
100%. And this Wukong still opting to stick around with little mana he had. I'm surprised.
I mean, blue buff does have really, really good sustain. Apollo getting ready to punish maybe off the side of that, but unfortunately doesn't pick the right target. Athena probably going to get this.
Blink on Poseidon?
Blink on a Poseidon. I am looking forward to that being punished. I mean, we did see it on Jeering Lamb on Medusa earlier. Maybe there's just a blink fever in the air. I don't know. But does look like Soul took a little bit too many tower shots and did get punished for it. Nemesis is going to go on this Apollo, ulting him, gonna go after him, and gonna take it. I mean, these Adelies, right? They're pushing way too far. As you were saying, the tunnel vision is way too strong. That Athena chased B-more all the way to where he went toward speed buff. And the only reason he didn't chase further is because there was another person in front of him.
Yeah.
These Adelies have to stop overcommitting.
In a big mistake in that fight, they just went in 1 by 1 and got picked off. Like, they didn't have no group, no nothing. They just kept trying to fight, even though they kept going down a man each time they fought.
I don't know, man. These Adelies, man. Like, they looked so strong game 1. Like, they looked like they made sure the Cerbs had to respect them very, very much so. And this game is quickly spiraling out of control. Now the only even roll right now is the Wukong
And
with
Wukong
the Ardeal.
shelling in
Yeah.
Fountain, unfortunately.
It-
Thinking that he was TPing somewhere.
Yeah, unfortunate use of his shell there. I mean, it's a mistake we make all the time, but that mistake could cost them. I mean, this
You just
Nemesis,
hate to see it.
yeah, you hate to see it. And this Nemesis not knowing that might play around it, maybe the threat of it, but not having it will probably hurt him a lot more than he's expecting.
I don't even think Nemesis cares if you have it or not. Her shred is so strong.
Great Athena, making sure that this Pele doesn't take that much damage. And unfortunately, Bologna, being a mega tank from the support, is going to just tank enough so that Kraken's going to go down. Wukong up down. Apollo dives into 4. These Adelies gotta stop, man.
Again,
Like,
as you see, like I said, they keep going in one by one as they lose these members. Like, there was no reason Apollo should have came over. We could have said, all right, we lost this fight. Go over there, stay farming. Now he's probably going to lose his life here, as the Athena did.
I mean, that Athena stepped up too far. Saw 1 health Bologna. That's a Bologna support, by the way. She's tanky. You're not killing her as the other support. Nemesis getting this kill. Just, the shield being very good at taking that extra tower shot if she has to. I don't know, man. This game is quickly spiraling out of control, and though the Cerbs are, I can say 100% that the Cerbs are doing a great job. I think it more is saying to just the lack of game. I'm trying to think of the right term, man. I'm just so baffled. They keep forcing these fights over and over again, even at these deficits, and it's losing them the game. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
At this point, if I'm the Adelies, I'd be looking to ward these objectives and just farm my butt off at this point. I would not be looking to fight at all. I don't care if you have Pele that's really good at early. I don't care if you have a soul that's really good at early. Don't fight. You don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's no longer the early game. It's the mid game going into late game. I mean, you've got Nemesis that's like 3.5 items deep to Pele's 2 and a small item. This Wukong's gonna die. Oh, that was a second later, and that Wukong dies. Cripple is going to catch him, as we said in the P's and B's. Wukong's living way too much longer than he should, but his Nemesis is going to put him down. Ardio gonna get the credit for the kill though. Interesting.
Here's a good thing to do. They're farming. See, they're stealing the farm away. Now they're taking towers. This is what they needed to do, but it looks like they're going to go Fire Giant at the
I was about
response.
to say, I'm seeing Poseidon, Heimdall pushing Fire Giant, Belt of Frenzy popping from this Bologna. That's just easy.
Yeah, and again, no ward pressure.
Yeah, like this lack of wards, man. Lack of wards is just insane. I mean, in the first game they were out warding them, and even now I'm not even seeing wards on the map. I think I see 2, or saw 2 maybe. I could be seeing things at like the back camps for the Adelies. I'm at a loss of words at this point. I mean, it's 3-26. I think that says enough to how this game is going. 11k down.
Yeah, I only see 1 word on the map for these Adelies, and it's the Oracles for the Gold Fury.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Adelies really, really need to step up their game.
Oh wait, they got one there.
That's an Eye of the Jungle, by the way, because Pele has Eye of the Jungle. I think their 1 ward is above speed buff.
Yep.
The Adelies, I will say, first game they looked strong enough. Like, I felt good about the Adelies maybe coming into this game too. It wasn't the greatest performance, but they could do something. This game 2 performance, like, they definitely picked some different things, saw some other things. Like, yeah, I love that awesome failures on Apollo. I thought it could allow him to rotate. He's rotated what, twice, and both of them ended up in him losing his life after the fight was lost.
Yeah.
I feel like this team needs to go back to the drawing board, not just for drafts, but also for maybe looking at team, how they want to play as a team.
Because I think their communications are broken at this point because they could easily called off fights so many times.
Yeah, the support's definitely, uh, it definitely does seem as if the support's lost their mental. Wukong ult being forced out over here on the right side by just 2 members of the front line, and then Heimdall's here punishing them. You got Nemesis literally running at the Apollo, recognizing that the only person that's going to probably win this fight for them is that awesome failure. Poseidon ult down, maybe thinking he was going to catch the Pele, but not quite there.
Was able to get the beats though. That is a decent trade.
Yeah, I mean, lots of relics. I mean, they did get Nemesis beats in that fight as well. I'm assuming from a taunt or something. Farmer Helen on this Athena just getting caught out a little bit too much. Ardio going in. I think they just end here. I mean, they have Fire Giant, and you're watching just Nemesis run at this Wukong, chunk him. I mean, she's so big, 15-1-9. The last time she died, she was like 9-0 and like, what, 5? She's put so much pressure on the map in both lives. It's insane.
Look at those 2 autos on Apollo, just chunked half his health.
Yeah, what was that? It was Slice and Dice and 2 autos. Like, this is...
Slice and Dice wasn't even used. That was just 2 autos.
Jeez Louise. I can't, man. I can't. Athena, again, being way too far up, getting chunked by this Poseidon. Maybe a waste of the ultimate, but it does take out like 60% of her HP, so... Pele face checking the jungle as Nemesis is backing. She's gonna pay for it.
Yeah. You want to face check my jungle at this point? Nemesis and just turns it around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on.
Because this is no longer the Adelies jungle at this point.
This is no longer the Adelies game. I'm looking at this, and this looks like an arena, a very one-sided arena match at this point. Just not the Adelies being able to play this game. I mean, they're just running in the Phoenix. Like, they are fully aware that they can just take the Titan. But weirdly enough, they're just backing the whole team. Maybe just playing it safe. I mean, you had 2 members down.
You do got Fire Giant spawning here soon within the next 40-ish seconds.
Maybe they were playing around that because with Fire Giant worn off, there's a lot more risk involved. Like, maybe they could turn around. Maybe like one good solo could put this Nemesis out of commission. But I don't know. Or one good bead, seeing as her beads is still down. So maybe they're playing around the relics. I don't know. I feel pretty confident. I mean, I know I'm praising this Nemesis 17-1-9 now, but then you're looking at Ardio Undying at 3-0-11, B more on the Poseidon 6-0-11, 3-0-18 on this Bologna support that we thought was a complete troll pick. Really popping off for him. Those Eagle rallies are really popping off. The disarms really doing a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Especially paired with this horrific, and still going like the somewhat soloish build with the Berserkers, Toxic, and the Shoguns.
I mean, Berserkers is broken, so I mean, fair enough. But
one thing she was missing was, you know, Frostbound Hammer, but she has horrific for it.
Yeah, I mean, what do you need Frostbound for when you got horrific, and then you got like, especially if she goes into like a Witchblade next? But looks like Fire Giant is being pulled. Farmer Helen a little bit on the back side, weirdly positioned for the support. Apollo, the only one not there. Wukong ulted. Maybe he's looking to slam down and steal it, but the Cerbs, they're confirmed just better. They Poseidon ult it. Did they Poseidon ult it? No, they didn't even Poseidon ult it. And there's Poseidon ult. That's GG. I mean, we're looking at Soul, who's gonna die. Maui just dies. It's Apollo just standing back at the back of the jungle. I don't know what was going on. Like, I don't know. I feel like this game was just a culmination of maybe their mentals got a little bit wrecked in the first game. That is definitely what it's seeming like.
Jeez.
More blinking and just deleting. Awesome failure there. I mean, the second game was not. If you showed me both these games, didn't tell me that they were the same players, I would think it was 2 completely different sets.
100%.
Like
Like
I don't want to rail on the Adelies that much, but
They just didn't show up to game 2 as they did game 1. As you said, I think their mentals just got destroyed. And going into a competitive scene like this, you can't let that happen to your team.
no, I do think that I feel like obviously there was that show of confidence, just the be more chaos going blink on Poseidon. Like, sure, it's great. I mean, that's a surprise attack, surprise whirlpool kraken. But I personally believe that if the Adelies had sat down, taken a breath, like you had said earlier, or not you, it was Top Hat. Jeez Louise, it's been a long day. Had sat back, taken a deep breath, and redefined what they wanted to do. Looked at what the mistakes they could do. I don't know. It definitely looked like a step back for the Adelies going into this game too.
100%. And they even outwarded them yet again, but nothing around those objectives.
I didn't even see. I'm gonna be honest. I was looking at the wards all the game, and I didn't see the wards. I'm gonna assume I'm gonna be 100% real that they use the vision shards, and which is very very good. Please use your vision shards, but not having those proper wards down around the objectives yet again just got punished. Like the Cerbs went in this game knowing you didn't ward the objectives and punished it earlier on. Interesting set. The Cerbs definitely doing a very good job at punishing their enemy's weakness. The Adelies maybe need to go back to the drawing board. I don't think the picks were bad, but like,
yeah, they need to regroup, talk it over, talk about a strategy, do some more scrimming, and this play as a 5-man into randoms and a conquest just to try to work on their warding better because that's what they're missing, and also their tunnel visioning. They need to stop it.
definitely have to be worked on this game. But that was the set between the Cerbs and the Adelies. I don't know. It was definitely entertaining the first game, but second game maybe a little bit lackluster. But thank you guys for stopping by. This has been myself as Sir Ionicus and Sniper here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see y'all later.